My friends, we are here. It's another week and another video. That means another inspiration and an opportunity for you to grow, to build energy, to shine positivity, and really inspire resilience. And this is what's today's topic about. It's a bit about the last corner in the last piece that I talk about a lot, which is really, you know, having struggled a lot, how can it help you to actually attract like-minded people? And I really want to thank you. I want to thank you for your trust. I want to thank you for your appreciation. And maybe you might be like, Matteo, please get ahead of yourself. You thank us every time. Yes, I do. I really believe that we do it too little in our society. We inspire each other too little, and we give a pat each other on the shoulder too little. And that's why I decided that I want to do it way more. And I do it with people that I care about. I cheer them on. I remind them and give them, this hug, this high five, say, come on, man, you got this, you got this. That's been my mission for many years to, even for relationship that I used to had, like really, friendships or relationships that I used to have with my partners before I met Kate, it was often about inspiring relationship together. So I always wanted to, and was able to foresee where the relationship could go, and also foresee, which also always didn't serve me well, where the person could grow. And I want to do this for you. I want you to have this vision for yourself, where you want to go. Because if you're listening to this, most likely you were attracted by the title, perhaps by my fancy shirt, or perhaps by the fancy background, the plant. Kidding aside, you struggled a lot. I know wherever you come from, perhaps Africa, Asia, Europe, wherever you come from, you've struggled, and you're probably trying to find a way in this world to make sense of all of this. And there is a lot of people out there. All of us struggled, but we live, as I call it, in the curse of the West, and there's too many lonely strivers, and that's why we're getting limiting results. That's why we are running in the same loops, and that's why we're bumping our head against the wall too long until we figure, okay, well, I need to go to a therapist, I need to go to the coach. And this is my mission. I want to make sure that people actually realize, okay, this is my threshold and I need to stop here, not here, not here, not here, but here. And ideally you always have enough leeway so you don't go over. I've had in my life many times, and it happened to me actually. Let me give you a little funny example. About 2018 ish, I decided with my ex partner Fatima to build a startup. And, you know, year down the road, my ex partner actually decided to go away. So I found a new partner, Hala, and we together started building this whole machine of hiring coaches. And, I was working full time at Bootstrap. I poured so much money into this as well. And I learned a lot because we hired by the peak about 40, 50, 60 people, and it was a great experience because it gave me this motivation to understand what makes people tick and dive even deeper into this human psychology. But I learned a lot of hard lessons, cash that can burn really quickly, and then obviously the whole thing that we all struggle. We all underestimate how much other people struggle. And I learned a lot throughout this that we all have unique journey. We all have our journey to go from here to here. But everybody has, sometimes the journey is like this, but oftentimes it's like back and forth, and then you go back. So, you know, it made it my mission as well in this time because I in the peak, or at the peak, almost at the peak, I was burned. I was really down. I was working obviously my job, and then I had a lot of savings that I burned, but at least for this particular purpose. And I learned a lot because the thing is, what I want to say here, we all, I believe, if you're here, you're a high performer. The thing is, high performance, or especially burnout and syndrome, and all these different things that come with it, from anxiety, panic attacks. I have people in my life that I know who really struggled, and on a high level leading company, and struggled with panic attacks, or all these different imposter syndromes and all these different, it's real. People, define it fancy names, but in the end, I just want to give you one, which for me was really burnout, really just going beyond my capabilities. The thing is, your mind has it's very hard for you to manage how what's the breaking point. And that's what I learned in this period, because I've been building startup back then in 2012 for about 2 3 years, and then this couple of years down the road we started building this one, and in between I had another one. So like three different startups I tried to build in a short period of time, and every time it got better, and I learned more. But I realized that I've been on it and at it about more than a decade and really working hard. And I felt in this period of time that it was fun. I was enjoying it. But the thing is, what really started happening for me, I developed this workaholism mentality. I work this anxiety mentality. If I didn't work, I felt really fear. And of course, back then with FitFun, for about 4 years, we had people from all over the globe, from Africa to Asia to Europe and to America, and so different time zones. And so I work always often really long days. And in the end of this, I've realized there's probably a lot of people like me who actually don't notice it immediately, but over a period of time. And I'm talking not about weeks, months, and years, but I'm talking more about years here, that although it's not immediately obvious, and you might take vacation, you might do all the fancy things like I did, going to the gym, working out, but I didn't give my mind a break. And this is what I want to give you. This whole notion that we talk about, that the struggle can serve you, it's really real. The unfortunate part of things is that you might really need to go a step further to realize that ideally you don't, but many of us just do that because we forget that we can actually stop before we break. And I've really made it my mission, because I've seen it too often in my life, as a high performing athlete, an athlete in my earlier life, professional bodybuilding, working and doing different things. I learned that there's a lot of people who struggle with this, because there's constantly this demand to push, 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 but people don't really take time consistently to find balance in their life. And I know people will be like, Matteo, there is no balance. And I believe it. I believe it too, because even if you decide to pursue something really passionately, you will sacrifice something else. But there is still a choice for balance. There is choice for doing things a little bit differently, maybe slower. Maybe you don't run on a beach 100 miles an hour or drive, but you just drive 80 miles an hour, and you arrive there maybe 2 hours later, or 2 years later, or 10 years later. But so what? Ask yourself this: so what will happen if I do this? And I'm doing this way more in my life now than earlier. In my younger years, I was like going at it, and I can work, I can crank crazy hours, I can wake up at 5. I remember the startup I was consulting, and to wake up at before 5, be at the office at 5, and it was fun. But if you think the sustainability of these things, this is what a lot of people don't think about. You're just thinking, okay, I have to go public, and I have to do this. Realize that you got your choice. Maybe you're a founder, perhaps you're a C-level CEO, or a C-level executive, or you're a stay-home mom. It doesn't make you matter over us. You're a manager, or you're normal human being. Maybe now you don't have a job, you're looking how to optimize actually your resilience. And there is no right or wrong answer to this. There is just a choice. Anything that happens in your life you can use to your advantage. From my story, humble story, growing up in Eastern Europe in a time where there's a lot of bullying, and I learned to manage myself. I learned over these more than 2 decades, going to the gym, working out, competing, but also more than now, almost, let's say, yeah, almost 20 years living abroad, to really manage different things, from learning new languages, managing different groups, and learning a lot about myself. Because then this is what you realized, you don't need to really ram your head against the wall every time. And you don't need to have the same experiences as somebody else who has to build a startup and, loses millions and millions. You don't need to go that route. Maybe for you it was that you couldn't have a kid, and that's your experience, and you need to go through that. Perhaps it is that you are just fresh out of school, and you're trying to figure the first steps, and because that now you feel like at a university never told you that the real world's going to be like, smack you in a smack you on the neck and say, okay, well, where is your experience? So I just want you to cheer yourself on and really pat yourself on the shoulder, give yourself a high five, and know that you can do it. You can build the life of your dreams. You can build an awesome life, and you can build and inspire resilience. But it starts with really believing in resilience and believing that you are resilient yourself and that you can make a difference in your life, in your own life. And this is why you're here. I really want to appreciate you, and I want to really squeeze you and tell you, you got this. I know it's hard. And this is why I'm creating these programs and these groups and these videos, because I've been there myself and I struggled. And there are so many people who maybe go by themselves and been there and looking for this positive crowd and looking for this inspiration to soak this in, this whole different type of people together who say, you know what, we got this together and let's go, let's make this world a better place. But sometimes it means going back to the drawing board or in front of you and just starting writing, okay, where am I at and how, maybe just do this. I sometimes tell you guys to do this, look at your last 10 years and write the maybe top 5, top 10 milestones you went through, positive ones, but also write down those things that actually weren't that great and that you learn from, and think about who you are today. you know One good example, I have to think about when I was learning to drive, and how scary that was probably for many of us, right, doing your driver's license. And then I'm thinking now about maybe 15, 20 years later, and you're still driving, and you got better, you get in a situation when you are a little bit insecure, like, oh, who goes first here? But you do it, and this is what life is about. It's about practice. It's not about thinking about it, it's about practice. So doing tiny steps every day will help you. So I know I unpacked a lot for this session, but I hope it served you. I hope it gave you a little bit notion of, when you struggle, you can really use this to your advantage. And this is where you want to have this inspiration and this mission for yourself. It's not just about coming together in a group or in a retreat. By the way, just to conclude, if you're interested in this, we're actually going to be opening up retreat for next year, after the summer, with my friend and life coach Deborah Gemmel, from Toronto, and we're gonna do it in Spain most likely. So if you're interested, please reach out, because it's gonna be probably for about 10, 15 people, exclusive business and wellness track to talk about, how to be a high performer and how to really optimize your life. So I hope it helps you to, give you the motivation, because I wish I would have these things in my life earlier. I was too scared and too probably confident that I can do everything by myself, until I realized, hey, you know, dude, you got to give yourself some slack, and started surrounding myself with people like Deborah, like, different people in the masterminds I'm leading. So if you really feel like struggle, please reach out. Happy to chat, happy to, point you in the right direction, and just stay focused, stay, on it. And if you really want more in your life, I can tell you, there is no other way than getting around like-minded people. So again, I'm having different programs, different things, but one of the things that I'm actually going to be opening up next year is the retreat. So if you really want to take your life to the next level, you have to do different things differently. I know it's scary, because I've been there, and I've been often, on the sidelines watching how other people do it. But now I'm trying to be also more proactive, and I have to lead by example. So many, many years now, I've been building these different groups and different programs and different ways to inspire people to challenge themselves. So I hope it served you. I hope it gave you some nuggets and some good inspiration. So again, you can inspire other human beings. Some people need it. So stay awesome, stay legendary. Until the next time, I'm looking forward to squeeze your hand, pat you on the shoulder, give you a high five, and maybe two high fives, and see you soon. Until the next time, bye.